Okay, so we implemented jump, as you can see, we can jump. And when we run out of stamina, we can't jump anymore. All right, but now we're gonna add sprinting. So to add sprinting, we just create a new ability. Abilities, player movement. Then we add gameplay ability and UGSC gameplay ability. We call it my gameplay ability underscore sprint. We don't do anything here again. If we need to later, we will, but we don't need to right now. So here we go and we compile. Okay, that compiled now. Ability system, player, movement. Then we call sprint. My sprint, GA player underscore sprint. Okay, and once again, we use the usual commit. Then we branch it. We failed, we end ability. Okay, and now to sprint, we just have to change the character's movement speed, right? So we can do get avatar. We can cast it, but we're actually gonna make a couple interface because we want to be able to set it back to default also. So let's make a couple interfaces. We already have an interface called character helper. And here we are going to just add new function void set character movement speed. And it's going to take in a float, new movement speed, new speed. And we're going to make another function called void set character default speed. Not going to take anything. So this will modify its movement speed and this will set it back to default. Okay. And that's it. Let's compile. You can implement it in C++ or Blueprint. So I'll implement it in C++ just so we can learn. So as you can see, we implemented the interface here. Set character movement speed, default implementation, and also save character movement speed. Then we implement them. Okay, and we can delete this. And we can delete this. So we're gonna set the character movement speed. So the default speed is character movement times walk speed equals 600. So that's our default movement speed. So that's done. But to set the character movement speed is new speed is greater than or equal to 0.1. So if it's not 0, actually set it to 100 for the minimum allowable movement speed to be. And then we just say get character movement max walk speed equals new speed. Yeah, and that's it. So if we do this, we can call it in C+ in Blueprint. Okay, so say character movement speed and the new speed. So I'm gonna promote this to a variable, so it's over here. And compile, we're gonna do, so it's 600, we're gonna do 900 just so you can see the difference. Nah, actually 1200 so you can see the difference. I wouldn't put it that high for an actual game. So that will change our movement speed, but we can't go back because we have to set it back to default. But if we do end ability right here, we'll just, so this is the way we're going to do it, right? So get ability, set default speed. When the ability ends, we're going to set the speed back to default. But our input has to be, so while we're holding shift, we want to keep running. So the way we want to end this ability is actually when we release the input. So we're going to do wait input released. And we're going to test if it was already released. So this input is whatever this ability is assigned to, right? So when we release it, we're going to end the ability. And when we release it, it's going to go back to the default speed. So we'll do this now. And to test it, right? Oh, we haven't given it to the character. So let's give it to the character. We go to our ability set. We select sprint. And we need to make a new input. So we go to player, input, actions. And do input action, sprint. And we actually gonna add a trigger, which is hold. So if we hold it for more than 0.25 seconds, this ability is gonna trigger. And actuation threshold is how, so it only really works for controllers. So how deep do you have to press the key for it to activate? Okay, so we created that. And then we go to input, add, sprint, and we're gonna put shift. And if you want to do controller again, you do this and oh, whoops. Okay, thumbstick down. So that's it. Okay. And we assign the key to sprint. And on not on started, on triggered. Now we do. You can see we're moving a lot faster. And if you want to debug that your ability is actually working, you can see sprint is active. Okay. But if I let go of W, I'm still sprinting, but I'm not actually sprinting, right? I'm not moving. So we want to get some logic. So when we stop moving, we want to cancel the sprint so it stops taking stamina from us. So for that, we're going to do wait gameplay event to actor. So we're going to send the gameplay event to this actor whenever we stop moving. So this ability stops executing. Okay. So when we receive the event, we want to end the ability. And you can put trigger only once, but what matters is the event tag. So this event tag is going to get triggered, right? So we're going to create an event tag in event, not combo. So event tag, event dot character dot movement dot stopped, or movement dot stop, and select your source, and you add it, and you select it. So whenever we send this event to this character, it's going to end the ability. But how do we send the event to that character? For this, we're going to go to code, and we're going to go to your character, and protected, you function looping callable, void check if character is moving. And to check if your character is moving, we just getter velocity and get the length of the velocity, and If it's 0, it means it's moving. It's not moving, right? So that's pretty much all we're gonna do. You Kismet math library nearly equal, float, get velocity dot length and 0.f, and the tolerance is 0.01, so it's not too small. So if we're not moving, we're gonna do u ability system component, no, ability system blueprint library, send gameplay event to actor. So the actor is this. So our character is the actor. Then the event tag is f gameplay tag request gameplay tag again, and we called it event dot character dot movement move dot stop. And what else does it take? It takes a gameplay event data payload. So we just do f gameplay event data and just default initializes because we don't care. Okay. That is all we have to do. So, but now we have to call this function. Usually, when you first start learning Unreal, you just put this in the tick, right? But you don't need it all the time. You only need it when you're sprinting, right? So let's set up the timer. So you property, you don't need to expose it to anything. F timer handle, and then is moving timer handle, right? So this is the property that's gonna handle this. So whenever we set the new speed, we wanna get the world, get timer manager, set timer, and then we pass in the timer handle, so it's moving timer handle, and then it says this, and then a reference to your function, which is we named it my player state character, check if character is moving. After that, we have to put in how often we want to. So as you can see, the end rate, it's how often it's going to happen. So we're going to do 0. Every a quarter of a second, and we're going to loop it. So true for a loop. So this function is going to call every 0.25 seconds, checking if we're moving. But when we set character speed default to default, we are going to this moving timer dot is valid. So if we are valid, sometimes we might not be valid. Then we do is moving timer handle dot clear. Oh no, we are going. So we're gonna do get world, get timer handle, get timer manager, clear timer, and we pass in the handle is moving timer handle. So if it's valid, we clear it. That means it's gonna stop running. And that's it. Now let's compile. Okay. Let's see. So we're gonna debug. I'm still pressing shift. I'm gonna stop pressing W. And it's not working, but there's a reason why it's not working. If you go to your actions, input action jump, no, not jump, actions sprint, we have a trigger this hold, and we're calling this ability on trigger, right? We don't want to do that. So we go to our ability set. Instead of triggered, we do on started. So we only call this function once. We only call this ability once, and it stays on until we either get the event or we let go. So let's see. So if we let go, it stops. But we're going to let go of W. And as soon as we stop moving, it stops. And now we have to make it cost something, right? We can't just sprint forever. Well, if you want, you can sprint forever, but we're gonna give you the option to give it a cost. So again, we're gonna do a new function called handle cost. Once again, we need to use this event container map. Set by color, stamina, set by color magnitude, set, and the magnitude is, we're just gonna leave it at 1. But we can use our old set by color because that only gets applied once, right? So this set by color is an instant effect, so it only gets called once. So we're gonna duplicate this. And instead of set by color, we're gonna call it set by color infinite. And we're gonna go in, and instead of instant, we're gonna set it infinite. And period, we're gonna set it to 0.5. So every half a second, this effect's gonna get applied. You can set it to wherever you want. And then we go in here, set by color infinite. Okay. So again, we do effect container map, and we find our set by color, then we break it, and we get all the values we need. So we're gonna get the class, which is an index 0 for our example. Then make outgoing spec. And here we do assign set by color magnitude. No, that's the wrong one. Assign set by color magnitude. And the data tag is going to be set by color stamina. And the magnitude is from here. Plug it in. And then we apply gameplay effect spec to owner. And we're going to promote this handle because we have to remove this effect later on. So cost handle. And we plug it in. Good. So now we have to call this function. We come in here after we set everything up, then we just start handling the cost. Okay. And then we have to get a function that does remove cost. Remove cost. And then we have the handle. So we get it, and then we just call remove gameplay effect from owner with handle. And that will remove the gameplay effect. And -1 means just removes all of them, all the effects in this handle. Okay. Then on endability, we want to remove the cost. So when we start sprinting, it's going to give us a gameplay effect, an infinite gameplay effect that's going to start take stamina from us until we stop sprinting, which then removes it. And so I'm gonna start sprinting, and as you can see, it's taking stamina from us. And when we stop sprinting, it stops taking stamina from us. Perfect. Same as our jump ability. And if you want to debug, again, you're gonna get a gameplay effect. See? G set by color infinite stamina, which is duration infinite and every 0.5 seconds. Let go. Everything goes away. In the next video, we're just gonna add an infinite gameplay effect, which will restore our stamina. Because right now, if we run out of stamina, we're never gonna get it back. So we're like stuck without any abilities, right? So next video, we're gonna get a gameplay effect, which restores our stamina over time, and only when we're not using our stamina. So if we're running, it's not gonna restore our stamina. If we're jumping, it's not gonna restore it, etc. Okay? So see you then.